Hey y'all, it's fall, y'all. Can you believe? Isn't this like the third day of fall already? Something like that.
No, fall was last week.
Oh, last week. Okay. Well, I knew it was fall, y'all.
We are into fall.
And to me, excuse me, to me, in my mind, when I think of fall, first thing I think of is that incredibly beautiful apple orchard I went in New York State. First time I'd ever been in an apple orchard, and it was just breathtaking to ride in there and seeing these beautiful green trees just covered with red apples. So I was so happy. You know, I'm always asking what y'all are doing. I was so happy when a precious lady wrote to me. She wrote me the sweetest letter, and she sent me a recipe for her mom's glazed fresh apple cookies. And it just had everything that I love, and she even sent me a picture of her mother and father. And look how cute they were. So cute. Just adorable. I know that she misses her mother and daddy. And I know I do too. After all these years, I miss mine. But this letter came in to me from Penny Warner from Urbana, Missouri. So she said that both of her parents passed away in 2019. And she goes on to say, I just love the informality of your show since the pandemic. It feels like I'm your friend in the kitchen, and you are, Penny. That's the way I hope that you feel. And I drink my coffee while I watch you cook and bake. I hope you continue this format even after the world quits spinning backwards. I love you and just enjoy watching you and your staff, Michael, the boys, and their precious family, your extended family, and the pups too. Wishing you love and happiness always. Thank you so much, Penny, and I wish the same for you. And I so appreciate you sharing your mom's recipe with me. And this is the picture, probably one of the last pictures taken of him. Look at him, and she's laughing, and she's like, I don't know, she said something to him, but that was her when her mama was 17 years old. And this was her dad. He was an engineer at WWUP TV station in Cadillac, Michigan, and that was around 1965. That was the year I graduated from high school. Whoa, what a year. It was so fun. All right, so here's the recipe. And you're right, Penny, your mother had a beautiful handwriting. She had had a stroke, but she still had a beautiful handwriting. Okay, so Penny typed this up, and this is what we're gonna have, y'all. The cookie ingredients are a half a cup of oleo. Well, for that, we're using butter-flavored solid shortening. And that's gonna go in our bowl. Good, I'm gonna use that as a spoon rest right there. 1 1/3 cup of brown sugar. And in it goes. She said cream the oleo, brown sugar, and egg in a large mixing bowl. My hands are really not quite big enough to break it with one hand. And while we're creaming that, she said in a large mixing bowl, add all the dry ingredients together. And let's see, add all dry ingredients. And she said then mix in only half of the sifted dry ingredients. Chopped nuts, chopped apples, and raisins to the cream mixture. So she said that we need to sift the 2 cups of flour and a teaspoon of soda and a half teaspoon of salt. So I'm gonna put this in the sifter, and this is all-purpose flour that we're using, and we know that because the recipe calls for soda and salt. So if it was self-rising, it wouldn't call for anything. All right, so here we go with the salt, the baking soda, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, and that's fresh ground nutmeg. Anytime you have an opportunity. I know it might be a little bit of a pain to grate those little balls, those little nutmeg balls, but by all means do it because it makes such a difference. So we're gonna sift this. I think I could have gotten a bigger bowl, couldn't I? But why? Okay, it's almost all done. This is kind of reminding me of an apple cake that I make. My Aunt Beth Hires shared a recipe with me for
The grand girls.
Grand girls apple pie from Georgia. So we have got all of our dry ingredients. We have our raisins, we have our pecans, and we have milk. So we're gonna cream these ingredients. Okay. Just hit the on button. This is the one that flies like the wind, Eddie. All right, we're told, y'all, to add half the flour mixture. Okay, now we have 1/4 of a cup of just regular milk that I'm gonna pour in. Oh, it's still so high. Okay, now we're gonna add the other half of our flour mixture. It didn't break. Sure sounded like it, didn't it? All right. And I think before I add the other things, I'm gonna just mix in that last part of the flour. So this is really an easy recipe to make, Penny. And I so appreciate you sharing it with us, because right now, you know, we're all thinking about Halloween, and we're thinking about apples and gourds and pumpkins. Okay. And now I think I'm just gonna stir in the nuts, the raisins, and I just adore raisins in my carrot cake, my oatmeal cookies. I just love the sweetness. And this only calls for 1 cup of chopped apples. I'm kind of surprised. I almost thought it would call for more than that. Oh, it smells so good. I've started trying to eat an apple a day. Sometimes I can succeed and sometimes I can't.
This way we're going to get to do the uniform.
Yes. That's exactly right. Okay. Looks delicious. Miss Mildred didn't, that's her mother. Miss Penny's mother. She didn't skimp on the nuts or the raisins. So that's good. Now we're going to drop this by the teaspoonful. And I have prepared my pan with actually some parchment paper and a seal pad. I just really don't like it when my cookies stick, so I'm just gonna make sure they don't stick. And Penny says drop by the teaspoon on a greased baking sheet, so we're safe there. Now I'm going to spray my little scooper duper. And I'm going to drop it by mounded teaspoons full. I forgot to tell y'all that on Penny's mother's apple cookies, a glaze goes on them while they're hot, straight out of the oven. So I've got 1.5 cups of confectionate sugar and calls for 2 cups of light cream, which I'm assuming would be half and half.
You mean 2 tablespoons?
2 tablespoons. What did I say, teaspoons?
Yeah, I think you said 2 cups. But I might have heard wrong.
Listen, that ain't no telling. That ain't no telling, Teresa. So I'm using 2.5 tablespoons of heavy cream. And it calls for 1/4 of a teaspoon of vanilla flavoring. That looks like 1/4 of a teaspoon right there. And a tablespoon of, softened butter. And look at that, that's just like a perfect tablespoon. Okay. And the powdered sugar has been sifted, so it won't be lumpy. You know what? I think we're gonna need a little bit more cream. Although when this hits a hot cookie, it's gonna spread. Right now it's hard. All right, just a little. This may be a little thick because we're using heavy cream instead of the light cream, so that could be the reason for the extra thickness, y'all. Like I said, as soon as it hits that hot cookie, it's probably gonna spread.
Yeah, that's good. That's the way I
like the flu.
Cinnamon rolls with that kind of thick icing on it.
Yes, I'm afraid that for our palates, we're not gonna have enough of the custard. You know, that I'm gonna have to come back and increase the amount of this. Because that's what makes it so good. Ooh, Eddie. Ow, ow, ow. Ow. How do those look to you?
They smell wonderful.
They look pretty dadgum good. Pretty dadgum good. All right, now, I just told Eddie that I was going to have to try to resist putting too much icing on each one of them. So
Icing can always be made. More can be made.
Oh, and listen, don't you think I am above making some more icing, honey? All right, I'm just going to put a little bit and see what that does to it. See if it does what I think it's gonna do. I would like a little bit of cookie with my cream. It's not melting as fast as I thought it would. All right, which one you want, Teresa, girl?
This one.
I knew you wanted that one.
So glad you asked first
Well,
before you take.
Look, I'm gonna take this one.
Oh, you cheated.
You spoke too soon.
Eddie almost did it.
Uh-huh.
God.
Eddie's watching. I'm gonna take that off. I was just being funny.
Oh, you should leave it.
I was just being funny.
These are. So good.
Tastes like apple cake, y'all.
Oh my, look, that's exactly what it tastes like. Small, moist. Oh my gosh. Gotta go. I'll be sitting here.
I said it's time to go. Teresa said it's time to go, so bye, y'all.
Oh my gosh.
Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.